everyone. I'm Emily.
And I'm Scar.
And welcome back to another episode of the Cottage Horse Podcast, where we get whimsical, wild, and whatever else every other Wednesday. We have an exciting episode for you today, so we hope you enjoy.
Hello.
Woo-hoo.
I wasn't sure who was going to speak first, so I was like, I'll do it. Then if we speak at the same time, it'll be awkward, but it'll be fine.
Welcome to the F1 Yap session.
Yeah, ready? Wardrobe change. It's not going to... Oh, it does. I look like I belong on the pit wall now.
Perfect. Oh my god. And what a perfect hat for today.
For real. I mean, the signature can stay, but, you know, the signature can also...
Oh, I forgot that was your side hat.
Yeah, it is.
Listen, he did great today.
No, he did. And if you have no idea what we're talking about because you're not watching it, then oops, sorry. I've put on a McLaren hat that is signed by Lando Norris. There you go.
You have met him. He gives great hugs, doesn't he?
Yes, I have met him. I met him in 2022, I think. 2 years ago? Was it 2 years ago? I think it was 2022. It was definitely after COVID. Yeah.
Do you want me to look on your Instagram and find out?
Yeah, sure. You can look at my Instagram instead of me looking at my own Instagram.
I'll look for you.
Yeah, it was really odd.
For those of you... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to tell the story while you looked. I was just going to say it was really odd because I was at university and then one day I was just in our house at uni and I just saw I think it was on Lando's story or something. And it was that he was coming to Bluewater, which was a big leisure centre by where I went to university. And he was just going and you could just get a free ticket to go because it was in partner with Krispy Kremes and Xbox. It was so odd. And me and my friend were yeah, let's just try and do it. Whatever. We'll just see. Because it was in the summer. I was we'll just vibe. We managed to get tickets. It was just so odd. We just happened to be aware of it. And it was weird. It was so odd. Genuinely so weird.
That is so weird. It also was 2022. June 27th specifically is when you posted it.
Yeah, I knew it was I think it was the same day that I posted. I knew it was definitely in the summer because I had finished for the... Had I actually finished university completely at that point? Yeah, I had. It was my graduation present.
Yeah, I suppose because your graduation post was your next post, I think.
Yeah, that was in July? Don't even know.
Your first graduation, I should say.
Yes, that's true. Did too. Because I'm so special. So special. Yeah, this is yapping about F1. If you know nothing about F1, that's fine. If this isn't your cup of tea, that is completely okay. You can either skip it or you can just learn. I don't know how much we'll be telling you that is educational. Probably not a lot. But if you just like people chatting shit, then this is definitely for you.
To be fair, I will say, if you don't know about F1, it's not super hard to get into. As someone who literally became a fan 2 months ago.
Yeah. It can feel very daunting because getting into anything is daunting, but especially sport, it can feel very daunting because there is a lot of rules, but it's not. It is. I would find it quite accessible. Fortunately as well, I say fortunately, with every fandom there's people who are just melons, but for the most part there are some really good content creators for F1 who post really good informational content and stuff. But it's pretty simple. You have teams and then you have 2 drivers per team and they race effectively in circles, but they race a number of laps on different tracks. And then if you win, you get the most points, and then it trickles down all the way to 10th place. Only gets 1 point. And then, yeah. And you just kind of, it's easier to watch. Once you watch a race, you kind of get the vibe, and then you can kind of pick up on other stuff. It's hard to explain without the visual aid of a race. Because it's I don't understand what you mean. What is a pit stop? What is this?
It's also really... It's really easy to watch a race even if you don't fully understand what's going on. Because I will say, when you watch, they have the rankings on the side of the screen at all times. So you just have to learn their last names. That's still my biggest thing is sometimes, I know the main people who are usually up top. Anyone below 10th place, I probably don't know who you are, and I'm sorry. Because I'm still learning everyone's names.
Well, that's the thing,
So
and
figure out their
I
last names,
yeah,
and you'll be fine.
and I think also like when I talk about the drivers, I usually talk about them using their first names because it's just like I don't know, it's just easier. Like so, you probably know the majority of their first names, and not you couldn't probably pair some of their last names together. But you don't really
It
need to
took me
know
so
everything.
long to learn Oscars.
Why? Just
I
because
don't
you just
know.
didn't. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, there's no correct way. Like, if you consume it on a very casual level, like that's brilliant. If you consume it on a very like intense, I know everything about every single unit of the car, also great. Like, there's varying levels. I don't know a lot about the whole mechanical parts of the car. Like, that's not really my vibe. I don't really care. Like, I know the basics. I know like bits and pieces, but like that's not really for me. But there are definitely like car nerds out there, and I'm not that person. I'm not a car person, so there isn't like a right or wrong way. Because I know sometimes people are like, "You're like not a proper fan," and I'm like, genuinely, go away. Like genuinely, stop belittling people for how they consume something. Like if they want to watch it, let them watch it and shut up. It's so
I'm
dumb,
literally, I'm literally here for vibes.
which is brilliant. Like there's nothing
That's
wrong with
it.
that at all.
It's fun.
It is fun. It's so
Like
silly.
today's race, I didn't even watch the whole thing. I got like 50 messages from Scar as commentary, which I greatly appreciate, by the way. And that's how I keep up with things. And
Yeah.
Instagram. Although it's so funny because like my feed will be so normal for most of the week, and then as soon as Thursday hits for a race weekend,
Yeah.
fucking chaos.
It is. It is. It is chaos. Yeah.
And I don't even
Yeah.
follow everybody.
Oh no. Yeah. 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 It is. It is a
I
lot.
follow a very small subset.
Yeah. It is. It does get intense on race weeks. I'm like, bro, there's a lot going on, especially with like all the press conferences and stuff. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
bro, like I'll just see a tweet and it'll be like, so and so said this, and I'm like, when and why did they say this?
Now my For You page as well on TikTok it's leveling out. For a while it was like every video was F1. It's leveling out now, but at one point someone posted like an entire press conference because you can upload 60-minute videos to TikTok now. And it was just like at first I didn't realize how long it was. And it was just like, Oscar answering some questions about stuff. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then like I looked at the comments and someone was like, bruh, this video is 60 minutes. And I was like, I do not have an hour to spend on one TikTok. What are we doing?
It's like people like have like started uploading like the race, like full races in like parts like 1 and 2, and I'm like, this is so silly. This is so silly. I'm like, guys, what are we doing here? I'm like,
I kind of
stop
love it
it.
though. Like it's
Oh,
it's
it's
so
funny.
chaotic.
Well, it's like people like quote replying to people and like being like, fuck it, here's the full B movie, and I'm like, I love this new era of
Yes.
of content. Like, what is this? It's so dumb,
Yes.
but it brings me a lot of joy. It brings me a lot of joy.
Me too.
Yeah, and F1's good as well because the way it runs, it doesn't run the same way as like other sports do. Like most other sports, it's like a winter calendar, so the summer is off. Whereas like yes, there is a summer break, but F1 runs the whole year. Like it obviously there's breaks in between, not every weekend. That would be genuinely
Mm-hmm.
bananas, but it runs for the whole year. So the whole year is the season. So like it's good because when there's not other stuff on, typically there is F1 on. And then if there isn't even any F1 or football, then I just cry the weekend. I'm like, what do I do with myself? There's nothing to
Yeah, it's your
do.
whole personality just gone.
For real, I'll just play Ace Attorney instead.
That the other half of your personality.
Indeed, indeed. I haven't
You
played that
know,
in so
like
long
in
now.
in Lilo and Stitch. This is relevant, I promise. You know, in Lilo and Stitch, where like Lilo like colors the picture of Stitch, and it's like his anger levels.
Yeah.
I should make one of you, but like your interests.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, because the thing is like also I work at weekends, so like it's a little bit difficult too. But it's like I'm like, oh, like I've played the first 2 episodes. This isn't about Ace Attorney. We'll get back onto F1, but I played the first 2 episodes of Ace Attorney Investigations, like the first 2 episodes, and I'm like, oh my god, yeah, I want to play like episode 3, and then I just haven't had the time, and I'm like, bro, I've been waiting for that game for so long, and now I just don't have the time to play because like other stuff's coming. I'm itching for it, but yeah, we move. But the race today was crazy. It was genuinely crazy. Because usually like with F1 races, to be fair, they've gotten pretty good. This season's been pretty good, but like typically you like watch, but you can kind of sometimes do other stuff because like fortunately the commentators are quite on the ball, and then you can kind of like tune back in. Like you don't always have to be like alert. But with this race, I genuinely was like just sat there watching it for like the full 2 hours. I was just like,
Literally,
bruh.
I only joined for the last, I don't know, like maybe half an hour, 40 minutes.
Mm.
I looked down for like a second because I was messaging you. I was literally about to say, "Oh yay, Carlos is in third."
No, that
And
was
then
so
I look
funny.
up and man's crashing, and I was like,
I
"Oh,
I messaged Em and I was like, oh yeah. So essentially in the race in Baku, um, there was like Perez was like coming up behind Charles. Charles's tires were like ass. They were just ass at this point from trying to catch Oscar. So Checo was catching him, and it was like, okay, he's gonna have to like try and push him back into Carlos, so then hopefully Carlos can like, you know, fight him, and then there'll be a bit of like a trade-off defending attacking vibe. And I was messaging you and I was like, oh, it's crazy because usually in street races and especially in like Baku, there's usually a safety car because someone usually crashes. Like it's so rare that someone doesn't crash. Like, you know, not always, but in races, street races especially, it's quite common. And no one had crashed. Like 2 people had retired, no one had crashed. And I was like, it's kind of wild. Like people were expecting a safety car. They thought like that's how they thought Lando was going to be able to climb up the pack. Like they were like, you know, it could work out. As I sent that message, literally, not even a minute later, they crash. Because I literally messaged and I was like, holy shit.
yes."
I was like, oh yeah. So I said, usually someone's crashes because it's so narrow and a street race is harder to overtake, etc. That was at 1:33. And then at 1:34, I went, holy fuck, haha. So about that safety car, I really said
Yes.
jinx. I really jinxed him. I thought it was Charles and Checo at first, and I was like, oh my lord, are you kidding? Not that I wanted it to be Carlos
Yeah.
either, but I was genuinely like, are you being for real? But somehow
I know.
Charles escaped.
I, I got so
Oh,
excited for a second. I was like, "Oh my god, are we gonna have a double
yeah.
Ferrari podium with Oscar? This is gonna be great." And then no, we did
I was,
not.
I was, yeah, I was like so convinced by that, and I was like, oh my god, that's gonna be good. Like, I wonder if Carlos will take Charles. Like, I was like, it's probably gonna be like Oscar, Carlos, Charles, which would kind of be like, you know, that'd be nice. And then yeah, they just absolutely like smashed into each other, and I felt bad for Checo. Like, I know a lot of people don't like him, but he had such a good race, bless him. All that to
He was
happen on the
so
last
mad
like
in his radio.
bro. But the thing is, though, is like I watched it again, and like he turns right and Carlos turns left, so it's like it's very weird, and no further. It was given to the stewards, and no further action has been taken. It's very odd, but like Carlos genuinely sounded so confused, whereas Paris like, "What the fuck?"
I know. Carlos is just like, "What
Bruh.
happened?"
He's like, I don't understand. Yeah, and it's crazy when Carlos got out of the car, like Checo like pushed him on the back of the head as well. I was like, bruh. They are like
Did
not
he
good friends at
really?
all. Yeah, they have beef. They have proper beef. They're always going to the stewards together for like infringement. They're crazy. I'm
Oh my
genuinely, I'm like,
gosh.
they should have thrown hands. I really, really think it'd be funny. Not that I condone violence or aggression or fighting, but I think it would be really funny if that like if two drivers crash and they just like start having a scrap like on the side of the track. I feel like they'd be so unhinged. If anyone's gonna do
That
that,
would be.
it'll be Esteban and Pierre. They'll crash into each other and then fight each other
Yeah, that sounds
because
about right.
they are genuinely useless. But yeah, it was bananas.
It was.
There was a lot going on, and it was weird because usually like the start at Baku, like someone causes a bonk. No bonks. I think Stroll got a puncture, but I don't even know what that was from. But yeah, it was like very like clean start. I was like, damn. And then Max's car just continued to just fail. His car just continued to
Ugh.
just fail. That man, he was like, I have no grip, and I was like, okay, but like you're still doing good. Like it doesn't really matter too much because it's in Baku. Like he's always got bad luck there. I was like, it doesn't matter overly much. Like George is a bit
Mm-hmm.
far away. Like he should be able to manage a bit. And then he was like, the rear is bad and just all this shit. And I was like, bruh. And then when Lando was catching him, I genuinely was like, that man is probably like literally internally screaming, like the dog on fire meme, where
Oh,
it's like, this is fine. I genuinely would have been like,
the second Lando passed Max, I was like, that man is angry. That man
that
is
man's
so angry right now.
big oof. Big oof.
He's fighting to hold that
He's
WDC
not won
title.
in he hasn't won in 2 months.
I
If you told
know.
me that last year, I would have laughed in your face. Do you know how funny this is, right? So last year, I did like an F1 bingo most people do it at the start of the season. You do an F1 bingo, and you kind of like write down some stuff that you think is going to happen, obviously, and then some like batshit stuff. And as a joke, I wrote down, because like this could happen. Like Max could like, I think, I can't remember if Max, I don't think Max won all the races last season. I think Checo like won. Oh no, Checo and Carlos like won one each, so he didn't win all of them. But like pretty much, he should have clean sweeped. He could have clean sweeped the whole season. So I was like, we're probably going to get the same thing. Like, let's be real. Like, Max is a very talented driver, and the Red Bull looks like crazy, especially like in the pre-testing that they did before the season started. I was like, bruh, the rocket ship is back. Like, Jesus Christ. So I put on my F1 bingo, we hear the Dutch national anthem 24 times. And then Max Verstappen said, actually, bestie, my car is fucking shit. And I was like, oh, guess I'll die. As a joke. But you know what? I also put there on a joke. Lando first win. Oscar first win. So I was like, yay!
We'll have to create a bingo together for next season.
Yes, definitely. I love an F1 bingo.
Yes, someone asked me what I would like to be bet.
I love F1 bingo. They're so unhinged. Where is my F1 bingo? Oh, God, gotta find it now. It's somewhere, but it's so unhinged. I haven't checked on it in so long, so it's probably like I need to like actually update it. But people put the silliest things on there. I put like, what was another crazy one? Like animal on the track. That's quite common. I don't know if we've had an animal on the track this season though. Not that I can recall. Although maybe I'm wrong. And then like singing on the radio, that's a classic. That is a classic. So, you know, we love to see it. Okay, it's loading. So yeah, I put I had Lando maiden win. Yay! And a home race win, easy. Singing on the radio. Trophy gets broken. Hasn't happened, I don't think. Rainy races, like 3 rainy races. All drivers finished. That happened. Slay. Last lap overtake. Dutch anthem times 24. Animal on the track. Ocon time penalty. That's just a given. Water is wet. A shoey, Daniel Ricciardo shoey. Ferrari double podium. 20 like lights out away we go. So all the races. 5 red flags. First time on podium. Team front row lockout, which McLaren did. No Red Bull on podium, which I thought was like gonna be like crazy, and turns out that happened like really fast. George radio drama. 5 or more cars retire. Logan scores points, which has aged so well. Maybe I'll change it to Franco scores points, because then that can be ticked off, because he did score points. Rosberg curse, which is where Nico Rosberg, when he takes a photo like outside someone's garage, they usually like have crash or retire. Yeah. Oscar Piastri win. New record is broken. Teammate crash. And then reserve driver drives, which also has happened because Bierman has driven.
Yes.
Yeah, crazy. I was like, it's good fun. It's good fun doing a little bingo. Because then I'm like, hee hee.
Yes. We'll
Funny
make one together
to
for the next season, and we'll share
for
it if
real.
anyone wants to play along.
Yeah. I love those videos. They come up, and I'm always like, oh my god, yes, I need to update mine. But I haven't seen them in a while, because I think most people have like, there hasn't been anything like groundbreaking to change. So
yeah,
we'll see. When it gets to the end of the season, it'll be feisty. It'll be feisty for sure.
Yeah. How many races do we have left? 8, 7?
6, 7.
6?
Jesus. Singapore is next. Oh, I've got an itchy nose, my lord. I had the calendar up, and then I got rid of the calendar because
I'll Google it.
Singapore, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 races. 7
races.
Yes.
Okay.
Singapore, Austin, Mexico, Brazil, Las Vegas, Qatar, and then Abu Dhabi. Crazy. Yeah, so there's still plenty of time to get into F1 for this season. It is truly a silly season. So, you know, if you're down for just silly vibes, then this season is for you, because it is genuinely dumb.
Yeah. It's a wild
so
time,
much,
truly.
So much has happened. Like, so many, like, weird breaking news and so many weird twists and turns. And I'm genuinely confused by it all, to say the least.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't understand. Also, like, shout out, you can go.
Go ahead. I was going to say, I joined based on vibes, and then I picked a team based on vibes. And listen, do I love McLaren? Yes. Do I also low-key regret that decision because they're making really stupid choices? Yeah.
Welcome to supporting a team. Yeah, it's that's like one of the things, like, yeah, it's what, listen, it could be worse. You could be like a Williams fan who, okay, now they're kind of doing okay.
Fan.
Like, now, okay, they're kind of actually doing okay. Like, Alex and Franco did so well. Like, Alex was genuinely, he was in P3 for so long on, like, such old tires, and he was holding up Max and Lando for so long. Like, Lando and McLaren were genuinely like, we're gonna have to pit you. They wanted to, like, get past him and like clear air, because they planned on him like not pitting until like lap like 35. That they thought, oh, we have like 10 more laps to go, and they genuinely were thinking of pitting at like lap 25 because he was just in the way. Like he was just genuinely in the way. And then eventually he pitted, and then the McLaren over the radio were like, "This is your time." I was like, he was causing so much ag for what? I was like, Alex, go King. It was
Oh,
so
I love
funny.
it. Alex
He
is
was just,
so fun.
oh, I love him. He's brilliant. He's so silly. He's so silly.
He is one of the drivers I follow on Instagram.
Yeah, I love him. He's just dumb.
Although,
and he just has all his animals. He's like a horse. I'm like, bro, I love that for you.
because of how well McLaren and Ferrari have been doing lately, my Instagram feed is like taken over by them to the point like I was scrolling today and then I saw Alex's post and I was like, hello Alex, I forgot you existed there for a moment, because it was just like overload.
You're like, hi King. Yeah, I know. That is the disadvantage of like I guess it's the same with everything, but like with F1 it's like, unfortunately those like bottom 10 drivers don't really get the same like attention as like the ones doing really really well, because obviously the ones doing really really well get the love and attention, which does sometimes make me sad, because I'm like, oh, like they're hanging out, like they're doing their best. They do not get the love, and that makes me sad.
Yeah.
But you know, I guess you can't all be winners. But
who's your like, who do you root for the most? Because I know you root for a lot of people, but who do you say? Who would you
I
say
do root for a lot of. I do root for a lot of people. For me,
or does it really just change?
I wouldn't say it changes. I think it's changed over time. But like for me, I really would like I would really like Charles to win the championship. I think he deserves it. He genuinely is like one of the most talented drivers on the grid, and like unfortunately the Ferrari car has just been like ass, and the team has just been ass. Like he even said it in a press conference the other day where he was like, I had the car to win in 2022, but like, you know, everything else just went to shit that season. And like that man, like he owns Italy. Like the Italian men would like kill the thousands for that man. No one loves him more than Italian men. And I love that for him. Like the bell, like in Monza, like the church bells rang when he won. Like what the fuck? Like who is this prophet? Like who is he?
And then he got in a car accident.
Yeah, then he hit someone with his car and then was a weatherman and then did go-karting for 2 days. Like, what the hell? I just think, like, not that you have to have, like, this crazy backstory to be worthy of winning, but, like, just, like, when you, like, know everything that he's been through, I'm like, bro, if anyone has, like, put their blood, sweat, and tears into this sport, like, along with, like, Max and Lewis, etc., and I know all of them have, but, like, Charles, I'm like, bro. But, yeah, but Lando as well, and, like, Oscar has the potential, I think. As long as him and Lando are in the same team, I think he'll struggle, unless, because I'd be interested to see what they do next season. Like, is it kind of like we'll see what happens? Like, we'll see what goes. Like, we'll let them race, and then at the summer break, we'll evaluate from there. Like, I don't know. I guess it depends how the season goes. Like, I imagine if Oscar turns out and he's like, you know, absolutely crushing it, it'll reverse the roles. I'm not sure, but I would love. I think he's definitely a future contender. So like, always rooting for him. I've been a McLaren fan for like so long, like since I was a kid. So, because one of my favorite drivers used to go there, like it was school, drive for them, like Mr. Jenson Button. I used to be like so obsessed with Jenson Button. Like I literally was like, he is everything to me. Like he was probably like my first like man crush. He was my first like crush. He was like a man. I was obsessed with him. I don't even know why. There was just something about him. And then he was on like Top Gear, and I was like, oh my god. Absolute king. But then obviously love Lewis, love Mercedes. Got big connections, family connections to Mercedes, so like they always hold a place in my heart. Got to support the Brit boys. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm a fan of all. I know some people don't like that. They're like, you have to pick someone, and I'm like, I do. Like, I obviously have my favorites. Like, like if I have to pick anyone that I'd want to win the World Championship, it would be Charles. But
yeah,
I root for Oscar, I root for Lando, I root for Charles. Like, you know, I'm happy when they do well. I'm happy when Mercedes does well. I'm happy when someone random does well. Like, I think it's funny.
That's fair.
I'm just like, I'm here. I'm here for the vibes. Again, like, I love the sport. but I'm also here for vibes. I'm here for a good time. I'm here for good racing. I'm here for good vibes. And
That's
whoever can
fair.
provide that
I
for me,
am.
I slay for. So
I would say I have just adopted Oscar in my heart, and so
you
like
have.
he is my
He's your
baby,
child.
and I will always root for him, except for certain races. Like I was rooting for Charles and Monza. I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
obviously, this man should win here,
Mm-hmm.
and he did, so it was great. But Oscar is my baby that
Yeah.
I will fight for. I also like with the whole McLaren drama. Oscar was getting a lot of hate, and I was like, I
Mm-hmm.
will go to war for this man.
Yeah, for real.
I will fight for him.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Like, I think a lot of people have like more than one favorite driver. Like, they probably have like their number one, but like I think a lot of people actually now have kind of because this it's weird because like you if you ask people, they'll be like people don't even know if you should support a driver or a team. Like some people are like you shouldn't support a driver. Some people are like you should support a driver and not the team. Like some people are like I'm a Lando fan but not a McLaren fan. Some people are like I'm a Charles fan, not a Ferrari. Like just because of like the way the teams treat them, like etc. etc. I'm like honestly, it doesn't matter. Like you can do whatever you want as long as you're happy. Who cares? If people are like no, you shouldn't do that. I'm like said who? Like literally said who? I literally don't care if you love every one person on that grid. Like absolutely go off, bestie. Like if you cheer for whoever wins, slay. Like how you're having the best time of all of us, so you win.
It's so funny though because for the listeners at home, like I said, I'm acting purely on vibes, and I made a list of who I think would be the most likely to make me cry
Oh
for
yeah.
no real reason. And I put George Russell at number one, and I'm amending that because George is like somehow slowly sneaking up to becoming a favorite of mine.
I
And
love
I
George.
truly think it's because of his TikTok presence. Did you see the fucking TikTok they made? I think it was today. And it was like Gen Z wrote our script, and this man legitimately said skibbity toilet. And I was like,
Yeah.
I
I
can't.
George Russell is you said it correctly. George Russell is genuinely the most British person, like British man to like exist. Like
Yes.
he just is. Like he says like yabba dabba do. I'm like, who the fuck says yabba dabba do after winning a race? Like who? Like genuinely, tell me who. Like he doesn't feel
Yep.
real. No, he comes, he vibes, and I really appreciate that. Like
Yeah.
he's an icon,
I
and
love that
you know,
he got third today, and he was like, "Listen, I'm happy to be here, but we all know that I was not supposed to
well,
be here, so I'm
it's
not
really
even going to
funny.
pretend that I had some great strategy to
Yeah,
get me here."
it's really funny because the day before, I think it was after qualifying yesterday. They were like asking, like, "Oh, I don't even know what the question was. I don't even think it was. I don't know if it was regarding the podium or like whatever." But he joked, being like, "Oh, well, if the top four crashes," I was like,
Yeah,
George, that
something
poor
about like how could
guy.
he win? Yeah,
Well, the thing is George has only won when people in front of him have crashed, and when he's been in first, he's usually crashed or retired. So that man never wants to be number one. He never wants to qualify first. He must have like anxiety. Yeah, every time the way I will never forget, like when he like when when he first won, the two cars in front of him crashed, and it just like parted the Red Sea for him. I was like, "There's no fucking way." I was like, "There's no way." It was so funny. I was like, "What a legend!" Like genuinely, right place, right
oh,
time, absolute icon. Yeah, it was well funny. I was like, he must love it. Like genuinely, if I'm if
that's
like
incredible.
if I'm like P2 P3 and I see George Russell in P4, I'm shitting myself because I'm like I'm a fucking crash. Like he must have something like weird aura going on. I'm panicking. I'm gonna lose my
Yeah,
job. Like I'm panicking here. Like I would not be live laugh loving. I would be scared for my life.
please make that TikTok now, especially with what happened today. That's so fucking funny.
It's not funny. I'm gonna lose my job. No, I will. No, I don't know. It was really funny in the cool down room because he was like, "What happened?" What like no, it wasn't even in the cool down room. It was like after the race. They were the three of them, and George was like, "What happened?" And Charles was like explaining it, and he was just like, Matt was like, no reaction at all. I think he was like, I don't know what he was trying to do, but like he just like stood there like, I'm like, bestie, you can say something.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and like in his interview, he was talking about like he was just like going through this like wall and hoping for the
Yeah,
best.
he was like, because that's the thing though, like it's scary because he had no idea where the
Yeah,
cars were. Like he didn't know they
right.
were off to the side. Like they could have been in the middle of the track and he could have gone into the pile. Like
Yeah.
with so much like carbon fiber. He was like, I just drove and hoped. And I'm like, that's not okay. I'm like, that's not safe. Bro, what the
I think
fuck?
that's his whole career. Drive and hope.
For it, no. Genuinely, yeah. It is. It is. And I respect that. You know, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that him and Toto are like besties. I love the fact I don't I don't know if you know this law, but this law actually like is the best thing ever. So when Lewis was like in talks to move away, he went to Toto's house like one morning and basically was like, I'm going, chief. What, like, whatever. I don't know what can't remember exactly what it was, but basically he was like, this is what's happening. Like, I'm going to Ferrari, or like, here's the conversation to be had, kind of thing. Um, and guess who was there? George Russell, because he had a sleepover at Toto Wolff's house. Like, what the actual fuck? Imagine it being Lewis Hamilton, and you go to your boss's house to be like, hi, I am moving on because you aren't providing me what I need, and fucking your teammate is there after having a sleepover. My head would be hot. I'd be like, what? What?
I saw people talking about a sleepover, and I genuinely thought it was a joke.
No. He was at his house, and I was like, imagine being George Russell and waking up and then being like, oh my god, hi, gonna like make some breakfast for like me, my boss, and his family, and then like I just.
But now Toto is adopting Kimmy, and so it's like,
yeah. It's an adoption center for real. Like he's just like taking the child, not taking the child. It's hosty, yeah. But
speaking of Lewis moving to Ferrari, I'm curious your thoughts on that, because like we kind of talked this morning a little bit about how like it's really tough for McLaren because neither Oscar nor Lando are second driver, really. Like they're both really, really talented drivers. And obviously with Lewis moving to Ferrari, Lewis and Charles are both really good drivers as well.
Yeah, I think Charles will still remain number one. I think if I'm Fred, I'm thinking, logistically speaking, I'm not going to sacrifice a young driver to a already 7-time world champion 40-year-old driver. I think that would be a little bit silly. I'm not saying that Lewis doesn't deserve good things, and I think good things will come to him at Ferrari. I think he'll enjoy it there. I think him and Charles being teammates is going to be absolutely wonderful. I think it's going to be really brilliant because they have a lot of respect for each other. I think Fred and the Ferrari team already have respect for him. Like the way that people like reacted to him at Monza and he's still a Mercedes driver was like absolutely brilliant. Like I think it's going to be great. I mean, who doesn't want Sir Lewis Hamilton, like the GOAT in your team? Like that's crazy.
Right.
But I think ultimately it's kind of like Lewis isn't, I would say he's at the end of his career, because who knows, that man could drive for another 10 years and I would love it. Like he could pull a Fernando Alonso and just like never ever retire, and I'll be like, yes, king, slay. But I think he recognizes that he's probably coming to a point where he isn't going to be necessarily prioritized as much. Like unless he's like, obviously he might go to Ferrari and absolutely like boss it, and then they might be like, well, you know, go for your 8th, like absolutely. But I think it's more like his, not like a mentor, because that makes it sound like Charles is like stupid, because he's not, but it's like I think it helps to have someone in the team who's, I don't know, if I'm Fred, I feel like that's a really smart move, bringing in someone who's like been there and done it and faced the hardships and faced the battles, and having someone there who is going to push Charles to be his best, but like not push it in a way that's like detrimental, you know.
Right.
I think it'll be interesting. I also think Carlos to Williams is going to be interesting. Like, I genuinely am so confused by that.
Yeah.
And I'm so confused by him and James Vowles' relationship as well.
I just saw something about that this morning, and I'm so lost. I apparently don't have enough lore there.
Just the way that James Vowles was talking about Carlos, it was just weird. It was like kind of like some stuff that was coming out. I'm like, I don't think you should be talking like, not that you can't be talking about a man this way, being a man, but I'm like, sir, you're married, like,
right, like
it's just weird vibes like coming at it. No, for real, that's kind of how he was acting. I'm like,
yeah,
if I'm Alex Albon, I'm sat there like, hello, like, I've been here like for a really long time, and I've helped you driving that fucking tractor, and then here's this Spaniard, and you're like about to like propose to him. I'd be like, what's occurring here? Like, hello.
Insert George Russell's face after his car got crashed.
It's like, sir, this is sir, this is a Chili's. Like, what is going on? What is going on?
See, this is just what happens when you're a smooth operator.
For real, he's too smooth. He was like, I'm gonna slide into his DMs and be like, give me a seat, please.
Yeah,
and it worked. But
it did.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, if you had told me, even last year that Lewis was going to Ferrari, I genuinely would have been like, haha, very funny. Like, absolutely not. Like, he's going to retire at Mercedes. Like, that is just like in his life.
He's been at Mercedes for...
Yeah, he was at McLaren first, and then he went to Mercedes. But him, like, he went to Mercedes the same time that Toto Wolff joined, so they have never been not in the same team together.
Wow.
They are divorcing. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's I'm still mad about that whole situation of like how they dealt with him. Like, he wanted to like be an ambassador or something with the team, and they were like, no. And I'm like, bro, it's Lewis Hamilton. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's Lewis Hamilton. Like, he's like one of the most famous sports people in the world, like, currently.
And he's friends with Nina Dobrev, which is just the wildest crossover, if you ask me.
He's friends with like so many random people, and I'm like, honestly, I respect it. Like, sometimes I see photos of him like out and about, and I'm like, bro, what the fuck? So I'm like, I guess he is Lewis Hamilton, like, duh. It's the way the US Open, like, Twitter account was tweeting about him when he was there. I was like, bro, they're, like, fangirling so hard.
Yeah.
I was like, me too. Yeah, it's wild.
Speaking of Toto, have you seen that trending sound right now? Because it's stuck in my head all the time.
I have filmed a video using that sound, and I was going to post it to my account, yeah, because it has been in my head so long. I genuinely love it. Oh, I love Toto. He's so funny.
What is the context?
It was regarding
who is he yelling at and why?
He's like, it's like Mikey. Oh, I can't think of his last name, but it was like basically there was issues with like Lewis in one of the races and stuff, and he was like yelling at was it like a technician or like the FIA or something? I can't remember fully the context because it was a while ago, but it was, yeah, it's so funny. Like, he is like outrageous. Him and Christian Horner are such memes. Sometimes Toto just comes out with the most insane shit. I'm trying to find
it. Just cracks me up every time I hear it.
It's where he throws his headset to the floor. I'm like, mood. Big mood.
That one and the radio, I can't remember which driver it was, where he was like gonna box and they were like, get out, get out, get out, and he's like, it's too fucking late.
Oh my god. That happened to Charles. Because basically, when was that? I can't remember what race it was. But basically,
it wasn't Charles though from that radio.
Oh well, there was one that was like, I can't remember what the Charles scenario was, but like they were like box, or he was like box, and no, I think they were like, we're going to like whatever pit, and he was like box, and then they were like, no, we're not ready for you, and he's like, I'm in the fucking pit lane, like, or something to that line, and basically then him and Pierre did like this weird. Not weird. They did this like interview or like sketch thing, and it was like, and it was in French, I think. And it's like, oh, we heard that you've been like having nightmares. Like, what do you hear in your nightmares? And he was like, box, and Pierre was pissing himself. Yeah, no, that the memes are pretty. Oh yeah, Michael Massey allowed for the. Oh yes, it was. So Michael Massey allowed for the final lap to be a sprint between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. So that was like when they were fighting. Oh my god, that was bananas. I do remember. Yeah, I now remember the context. Bloody hell. Yeah, it was in Abu Dhabi. It was. We do not speak of Abu Dhabi. We don't speak of Abu Dhabi. No, my
other favorite radio that I've heard clips of is, I don't remember which driver it was, but they were like, can you hear us? And he's like, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? And they're like, no, I can't hear you. And it goes back a couple times, and he's like, you say you can't hear me, but you're responding.
That's Kimmy, yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Sometimes the driver radios, I'm like, guys, what is occurring here? Like, they're so dumb. Yeah, it was. Wait, I'm watching the video. Oh my god, why is it so long? Speed up. Yes, I was asleep. I woke up from a nightmare. This is Charles speaking from this sketch. And you shouted. I shouted box, and Pierre's just like, oh no. What was the actual problem?
No, okay. I found the one I was talking about. It was with I don't know how to say his last name. Kimmy though.
Raikkonen.
Okay, Raikkonen? That's what I was gonna say, and I didn't want to mess it up.
Yeah. Oh my god, Kimmy. Oh, I miss Kimmy. I miss Kimmy so much.
But yeah, he's like box, and they're like stay out, and he's like, hey, it's too fucking late.
Yeah.
Also, I like how all of the different trophies are different, but I would like answers on who designed Monza's, because that one was just fucking. What was that?
Usually it's like local artists or something. I don't know. Sometimes they are weird. Sometimes they are so ugly though. I'm like, bro, like what
Today's
is that?
wasn't bad.
No, it was a bit boring, but it was fun.
Although I will say, I just opened Instagram and I saw it was McLaren posted Oscar and the guy who like accepted for the Constructors' Championship, and I genuinely thought this man was holding a fish at first.
He's
like,
giving
just at first glance. Well, just
It
because
is.
like the way he has it facing, and it's like it's got like scales to it almost.
It must mean something.
Oh my god. Okay, so Oscar posted this, and then just put photo credit George, and George commented and said, "Thanks for the photo cred. Means a lot."
Someone, I saw someone tweet being like, if I was Oscar, I would tweet a picture of me with my trophy, and then with the caption "Papaya rules" and log off. And I was like, absolutely not. His PR manager would have sent him to the grave. But
Listen, his PR
it would have
manager
been
is
funny.
already very stressed
His PR
after
manager's working double time.
last Wednesday.
Bro, the way, bro, I get stressed when I see like as someone who works in social media, I get stressed when I see play like a lot of like women's football players do not have like PR managers, and some of them do, some of them don't. And some of the teams, I'm like, bro, you can't be saying that. And I get stressed. I'm like, that's not even me. That's not even my fault. But I'm
Well,
like, huh.
and McLaren's PR team has been working overtime lately.
Yeah, they really have been working overtime.
They've been putting in the work.
They have. It's a hard life. It's a hard life out there.
You know, you really need to post part 2 of me vibe checking the drivers, especially now that I actually know more about them. I want to see what my initial thoughts were.
That is true. I do need to do that. I still have it screenshotted, I think. I think I do. I will do that.
You can find it at the very least.
That's true. That's true. I need to remember who I did in the first part. I'll have to find that and like compare.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I recently
it was very funny.
because I was curious.
And what did you think?
You know, I still stand by most of what I said.
Fair.
Including, I still think Charles would bark at people if he was watching your drink.
Okay, this is a call to action. If someone out there who's listening likes F1 and also writes fanfiction, I would like you to include that in one of your fanfictions, please.
Yes.
Just as an honorary mention. Don't even explain it. Just have it in there. That would make me very happy.
And please let us know so we can read it.
Yes, that as well. Listen, I don't care if it's just like silly little crack fan fiction. Please just do it, because I think it would be so funny.
Maybe now I just need to write it.
Well, there you go. Maybe it's a sign.
Maybe.
Because that would be hilarious.
At what point do I become unhinged enough and I write Lestat fanfic?
I mean, who knows, Bestie? She's thinking. She's pontificating.
Because I'm on F1 TikTok, I end up on just like the weirdest spot. And like this morning, I was like scrolling through something, and it was like a photo carousel thing on TikTok, and it took me like 3 or 4 photos into this thing to realize that it's like a fanfic, but they were like posting it on TikTok. You know some of those?
Yeah.
And it was with Oscar and Lando, not like as a couple, but like they each had their own respective significant others. And this one was like, I don't know, we were like 20 parts deep, so like I had no idea what was happening. I ended up watching, like, I like looked through all the photos, because then I was just like, what is happening here? But like it was like 20 parts deep. It was so random, because like, and it wasn't even like a YN fanfiction situation. Like they had personalities and everything.
Oh damn!
And actually, now that I think about it, Oscar's girlfriend was Lily. So apparently, they just took his real girlfriend's name, but I think gave her a completely different personality. I'm assuming.
The thing is they do so well on TikTok. Like those accounts have so many followers as well. And I'm like, maybe I need to make a burner account and just write shitty things like that.
I think you should. We can do it together.
Okay, new side quest unlocked. Because it's like those ones where like
out there. No, you don't.
It's like those ones that
the text ones.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
The text ones get me every time.
No, so do I. Listen? Are they silly? Yes. Do I still read them because I'm curious? Like for me, like I am curious what other people think the drivers are like. I think that's really funny.
Yes.
Because I think everyone has a version in their head, especially because like the drivers you like, you're obviously gonna put them in a better light than the drivers you don't like. So it's really funny when you like come across stuff like that, and you have like some people like not be villainous, but like some people be like the bad guy or the bad ex-boyfriend, and I'm like, bro, it's so clear like who you love and who you hate. It's so funny. I love it so much.
Like I saw one where it was like when the driver, like when they only hit you up when they're drunk / high.
Oh my god, yes.
The stupidest weirdest thing. Also, I love that most of them were drunk until we got to Lando, and they were like, "Now Lando's a stoner," and I was like, "That actually kind of checks out." I'm not gonna lie.
Lando gets stoned off eating 17 spring rolls. Like,
How does that man eat so many spring rolls?
listen, spring rolls bang. They're
Yeah,
so
but that's
good.
so many.
I think they were the mini ones, but still, that's a lot.
Oh, okay, that would make more sense.
From what I remember on the plate, they're like this big. But still,
Okay.
I
See,
think
in
he
my
ate
head,
all the
I'm thinking
stuff.
like a full size.
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. If anyone remembers the clip when him and Max streamed, then I could look it up. But I can't be bothered. So but I think I remember from the plate, it's not a full. It's not a lot of spring rolls. Which is the way he's like.
Okay, that's fair.
It's the way he's so dejected, like he's being exposed for eating 17 spring rolls. Like it's so funny. Max is like, "How many did you order?" And he's like, 17.
So then he like counted them as well. He's like, "Wait a minute,
Yeah.
you already ate 3, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4."
He's so defeated by it. I'm like, the poor kid wants to eat his spring rolls. Let him live. He's having his munch. For real. I'm like, listen, let him eat. The boy needs to eat. He's an athlete. He needs to get those gains on. He needs to go
big and strong.
He does. Well, not too big and too strong because you'd be too heavy.
Well,
that's not allowed.
Yeah. You know what I mean.
If it's too heavy for the car, you get told off. They're like, no. Too big.
That's what happened to George.
Well, he lost too much weight. So.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's bananas. That whole thing is crazy.
I was
the way
so
they
scared
lose
when
is bananas.
When I was watching this morning and like right after Oscar won and he went on the scale, I was like, oh my god, what if? What
was crazy? There was
also,
so many
almost falling off his car was almost falling off his car.
Yeah,
it was kind of funny.
He wobbled. Well, he won the.
It's the way he like holds up a. He was like,
yeah,
1 second.
He's like, wait. Yeah, waiting to the photographs if they haven't already been taken. It was the way in Hungary he won that race with a broken rib. I'm like, can we just like please have better protocols for the drivers, please, please, I beg. Like how? But yeah, it was crazy. There were so many drivers called and teams called to the stewards afterwards for like virtual safety car infringement. That usually doesn't mean anything. I think Max has received like a reprimand being like, don't do it again. And like McLaren have had to pay a fine for like speeding in the pit lane or something. So like nothing's actually happened. But yeah, I was like, bro, I'm nervous. Like, let's not be silly, FIA. Like, ooh. It was fine in the end. Just a slap on the wrist, which is fine.
I'm also curious about something.
Mm-hmm.
So someone couldn't drive today, right? Was it Hulkenberg or what's his name?
It was Kevin Magnussen could not drive today.
Magnussen, okay. Because he had too many penalty points, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, was it Ollie stepped in for him?
Yeah.
So then I've heard people say, like, this is his final season, Kevin's, and, like, last 7 races. So, like, is his slate, like, wiped clean now and he can just do whatever he wants? Because, like, people seem to think he's going to, like, just be a chaos gremlin.
Yeah, K-Mag is already a chaos gremlin, hence why he's got too many penalty points and has to have a 1 race ban. Like, he fucks about and finds out, and I love that for him. Like, he is so funny. Yeah, so now he's had his ban. Yeah, he can now basically cause violence again. And I'm really excited to see what he's gonna do.
So is he retiring at the end of the season then?
I don't think so. I just don't think he has a seat.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, so we'll find out, I guess. He might go to kick. I think there's only 2 seats left. So I don't know. It seems unlikely. Given the drivers without seats still, he seems unlikely to get a seat. But it's not necessarily like not likely either. I think it just depends what happens.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. No, I literally want him to just take out half the pack. Like, not in a safe way, but it'd be funny. Like, I just think it'd be funny. Okay. I really want him to be like a back marker. And you have like, I don't know, like Lando and Max are like fighting, right? And it's like crucial. It's like, okay, like, it's like big brain plays like here need to happen. And then K-Mag just decides like, fuck it, like, neither of you win. I'm going to take you both out. Like, absolutely just cause violence. I just, I think sometimes being a bit goofy, as long as it's safe, is good. And listen, I don't want anyone to crash because it can be incredibly dangerous and it's incredibly scary. And it's also sad when they crash because they all are sad that their race is ruined.
Yeah.
And like, but is it sometimes a little bit funny when they bonk? As long as it's okay, yes. Like when Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber crashed in their Red Bull era, and Sebastian got out the car and did the cuckoo gesture at Mark, I genuinely was like, that's very silly. It's like, that's actually quite funny of you. That's actually very cunty, and I kind of love it. So maybe we need more of just silly little gooses. But I don't know. Just weirdness. It's a weird season. It'll only get weirder. The fight for the WDC is still very much on. Lando was able to get not enough points over Max today, but considering he was P17, he did a fantastic job of getting more points than Max. He'll need to do brilliant in the remaining races. He'll basically need to finish on the podium for the remaining races, and Max will need to finish like P5-ish. And then hopefully if Lando wins the sprints, it'll also give him that extra edge as well, because that'll be a big extra 8 points. But honestly, it depends. And if the Red Bull continues to be as bad as it is, then we'll see. And also, if Red Bull decide to change their like power unit, for example, in Max's car, he'll take a grid place penalty. So there's other things that could happen here that could cause things to change in the championship, because a lot of them have already done their 4 power units. I think all of them have done their 4 power units. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Who knows? Singapore will be interesting. It really just comes down to how well Lando can qualify, and hopefully one race when he finishes top of the hopefully one race when he finishes P1 in qualifying, he'll actually lead the first lap I was
gonna say that's on my bingo card.
Lando
manages to keep
P1 for a whole lap. Like, he led it into the first corner once, and I was like, yes, Slay King, and then he lost it, and I was like, bro, yeah, maybe. I'd be interested to see what happens. I think honestly, like, if for the remaining races, and again, like, I don't think this is going to happen, because I do think the Ferraris look really, really strong. And like, Max is still good, is a really good driver. So even though the car is literally poo, he's still very competent. But if let's say, for example, that Lando and Oscar qualify 1 and 2 for the remaining races, let's Oscar behind him, I think Lando will have a very, very, very good shot. I think it would be it wouldn't be easy, but I think if they then do papaya rules and they have Oscar race but defend for Lando, I think that would be 7 wins. It'd be hard if Max doesn't finish on the podium. That's a big ask. It's a big ask. But maybe he'll go crazy, and maybe like Oscar will decide to just absolutely bomb it and win all the remaining races, and maybe he'll be champion. like genuinely, if Max DNFs like 1 race or 2 races, and Oscar like goes on and wins like so many and picks up so many points, like fucking hell, he'll win. Like, who knows?
Like, yeah, it's an interesting race right now.
Oh yeah.
For
it is
WDC. Blah.
It hasn't been this close since Abu Dhabi. Like, it hasn't in 2021. It hasn't been this close since then. When like it literally came down to the final race between Lewis and Max. Like, that's otherwise
that was what I watched a clip of that, and that was the most stressful thing of my life.
Otherwise it's been Max Verstappen dominance, and then before that Lewis has more or less been fairly on top. There have obviously been battles, but Max has won the past ones without much trouble, which is a testament to him and his team and how good of a driver he is. I know people said it got boring. I definitely fell victim to being like, it is a bit boring when, someone's winning by like 20 seconds every single race. It's kind of like, I would like some better racing, because there wasn't really a lot happening. That's not his fault. So it is what it is. Exactly like when Lando won by 20 seconds, not his fault. Like, it just happens sometimes. Sometimes cars are too fast and drivers are too good. But it's nice to have.
So funny. That moment in the cool down room.
20 seconds.
Charles's face. Charles was so stressed.
Matching icons with you and your bestie. Like, oh my god, it's so funny. It was the way Max was like, he just said it like so matter of factly. He was like, yeah, it was like 20 seconds. And Charles genuinely looked like his whole world had come crashing down. He was so upset.
Yeah. His stomach dropped.
He was like, I think he kind of maybe thought that Max was like joking, but then because Max said it so matter of factly, he was like, "Oh wait, like this isn't a joke. Like this is actually
Yeah.
for real." Like,
Oh my god. Speaking of Max, did you see the group of them talking and then Max just moved the microphone? He's like, y'all
yes,
don't get
yeah.
the gossip.
No, Netflix do not get the gossip. Bloody hell. Do I watch Drive to Survive? Yes. Do I also kind of hate Drive to Survive? Also, yes. Because obviously it's their job to make it interesting and dramatic. And in some
Yeah.
cases, it is that way. But unfortunately, a lot of the time, it's just not. And I remember when Daniel and Lando were at McLaren together, they made such a meal out of like everything they were doing. And it just wasn't that dramatic. Like, it's like so unnecessary. And there's a reason Max doesn't want to be a part of it. A, because I think he just doesn't like that sort of thing anyway. But I'm also like, he just doesn't want to be, he's already been the victim of like people just being stupid in the media. Like, so he definitely doesn't want that where people are going to be making out to be this villain when he's not. So yeah, I'm like, I'd be really interested to see what they do for like one of the episodes is going to be called Papaya Rules, like for sure. Like they'd be stupid not to.
Yeah.
And they're going to make that out to be so dramatic when it's literally not. Like Lando and Oscar seem fine. Do I know them personally? Absolutely not. Maybe they fucking hate each other. Who knows? Maybe they've always hated each other. We literally don't know. At the end of the day, we don't know. They could not even be friends. It might just all be for show.
Yeah.
Who cares? At the end of the day, they're doing their job. But like, given the photos that I've seen today of like Lando spraying Oscar with champagne, it seems like they're fine, and they're gonna make it out like they like genuinely wish death upon their newborn baby. Like, it's
the media
not like
already this weekend was like trying to like snare a headline and stir up drama and all this stuff, and they were both just like, nah.
The thing is, it's funny though because like I respect the maturity of both Lando and Oscar a lot for that, and all the other drivers for that matter, because they will also ask questions about it. I'm like, first of all, it's none of their business. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
But like, it takes a lot to be like, listen, this is like, it'd be different. It would be different if they were actually causing aggravation on the track towards each other.
Right.
Like, if it was like Multi 21 with Seb and Mark, it'd be a different thing. Because then I think, yes, you should be asking them questions because it's different. But when it's more or less just the team causing problems, then I think it's kind of unnecessary because they would have had those conversations in driver briefings and team briefings. Like, it would have been aired out. If they were like going wheel to wheel and like crashing each other out every race, then I'd be like, yeah, maybe we should ask them questions of what's going on. But it's not like that at all. So it's just weird. Yeah, it's weird the way they were asking about it. I'm like, it's odd because like after Hungary especially, they were like Nico Rosberg, he was like very much like, oh, you know, hopefully this heals the relationship between them. Like, we don't want these two drivers, very talented drivers, to fall out. Like, they do need each other. And then you have journalists being like, do you hate him? Like, what? Which one is it? You either want them to be like a beautiful bromance or you want them to like despise each other's guts. There's like no in between. I'm like, what is occurring? It's genuinely, if Oscar wasn't managed by Mark Webber, this narrative would not have been spun as heavily as it has been. But people love that comparison so much. And I'm like, they are not the same. Oscar's not Mark Webber, and Lando Norris is not Sebastian Vettel in any means of the imagination. Mark Webber's probably sat there like a little bit. Obviously, he has his qualms over the past, but like, I don't think that is really impacting things as people are making it out to be. Is it funny? Yes, but I'm also like, I think that's
I saw
in the
so
past.
many comments on one of the posts today after Oscar won of people being like, pretty good for a second driver, huh? And I was just like,
that is one of my favorite things ever said by a driver. Like, it was so cunty. It was so funny.
I love it.
It was so funny because it was just drama. Like, it was so dramatic. Yeah, that was a. If you want to like go into an era of racing where there genuinely was so much like contest between drivers in the same team, that is it. Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber. Mark Webber genuinely aged like 70 years when he was teammates with Sebastian Vettel. He was probably triggered by any German twink who came through. Like, he probably never recovered. I think he like had nightmares for a long time. And honestly, that would be valid. If this like 19-year-old kid came into my team, bro, I'd be fucking raging. And he was like, I'm not gonna apologize for winning. Bro, I'd be peeved. I'd be peeved if I was him. It was crazy. And all the team were like loving him and not you. I'd be like, tea is being spilled. Like, tea is being spilled. And giving him parts of your car. Yeah. But fortunately, that's not happening at McLaren. But bro, if I'm Andrea Stella and Zach Brown, I'm like, I'm not crossing him at all. I'm like, no. But it's really sad because I really want Seb to be in the paddock, but I'm like, not that him and Mark aren't friends now because I think they're more very, very fine because they've like seen each other since then. But I'm like, I really want Seb to be in the paddock. Like, I really wish he was there. Like, sometimes he comes and visits, especially like when they do like the bee farm thing. It's like, oh, it would have been so nice if he was there, like in Monza for Charles or Monaco for Charles. And I'm like, but I think it'd be really funny if like Charles and Oscar were like 1 and 2 on the podium, and then you just like pan over to like 7 Mark. I just think it'd be funny. I'm like, please, but Seb is like too busy like farming and shit. I'm like, bro, come out of your wilderness.
How dare he?
Come, yeah, stop doing good things to the planet and come to a race. I'm like, please, Nico's here. We can have a whole reunion. Kimmy was even at our race the other day. The fucking Iceman himself. And like, please,
Love it.
Seb, the kids miss you. Come on, please. We could have had a reunion. We could have had Alonso and Mark Webber and Seb and Lewis and Kimmy all there together, and Nico, and like maybe Jensen would show up for giggles, but no, that can't happen, and I'm sad about it. Mark Webber. I just keep thinking of Lando when he says Mark Webber. Mark Webber. You're gonna say Mark Webber. I'm not gonna say Mark Webber. Mark Webber. Mark Webber. Mark Webber. Mark Webber. 10 out of 10. Anyways, I have no thoughts. My piece.
I have no other thoughts either, honestly.
Yeah. If you watch F1,
we have successfully yapped.
Yeah, if you watch F1, let us know your race predictions for the remaining 7 races and who you think will win the championship as well. I flip-flop between Max and Lando literally every half an hour. So I am currently
I go
undecided.
Back and forth, but then also I'm like, Charles?
I mean, listen,
probably won't,
I think unless that Red Bull car genuinely continues to deteriorate, like genuinely gets worse each race, I think Max has done enough, and will continue to do enough. If it does get worse, however, I think as long as Lando drives well, he is quite comfortable in being able to grasp it. It really depends on that Red Bull car. Like, if that Red Bull car only gets worse, I think it'll be a hard ask for Max to continue to defend the title. It's not impossible. Yeah. He's a very talented driver. It really depends then on how well Lando does. It's so dependent. It's so dependent. It's not even like it's frustrating that it's not like, it's not where I'm sat here saying like, oh, it really depends. Like, it's really a battle of the drivers, because it is, but it's kind of not. It's really much a battle between Lando and that brilliant papaya car, and then Max and his fucking tractor.
Yeah.
And he can only do so much with that tractor, and he's done well enough, but it doesn't look good, Chief. If I'm Christian Horner, I'm sweating a little bit. In that team briefing, I'm sweating bullets, mate. I'm like, no, I don't know. But maybe Charles will go and sweep it, and I'll genuinely get a tattoo and never recover in my life. Never watch F1 ever again. Life is peak. Thanks. Bye.
Perfect.
Yeah. Get a little F1 car.
All right. Well,
right there on my collarbone. Yeah. No, I won't. It wouldn't be there. It'd be there.
Over your heart.
No, don't. I saw this guy, this Italian man, going back to Italian men, and he had Charles's face on his peg, like on his heart, and I was like, bro, absolute mood. To be loved, like Italian men love Charles Leclerc is the dream, you know. So
yeah,
but yeah. If he wins the WSDC, they're getting full on like back mood board montages. Like, it's gonna be absolutely fucking crazy. Like, I genuinely think they'll take him to like a chapel in Italy, and the Pope will go there, and there'll be like a whole ceremony. Like, I feel like there'll be a statue carved of him in marble in the streets. Like, I just don't even know. I just don't even know what will happen. I think the world might fully explode. I think Italy might actually rename itself. Like, I think they'll put him on their flag. I just don't even know what will happen. And he's not even Italian. He's not even Italian. He's Monegasque. Like, but they genuinely love that man so much. If he ever left Ferrari, bruh, he's hunted and killed on the stake. He's crucified like Jesus Christ. Like, this ain't no way. There's a reason he has a lifetime contract with that bloody team. That man bleeds Ferrari like no one else.
Yeah.
But that's it. Hopefully in the future.
That's it. Yeah.
I've even
All
got
right.
my red
Well, we
nails
hope
on.
you enjoyed. We hope you enjoyed our yap session. I have no nails. I mean, I have nails. They're just not covered.
Oh, yikes.
I have nails. Don't worry. If you're interested in more sports-related content, go check out Sports with Scar over on TikTok and on YouTube,
Oh my
where
god.
she talks a lot about F1 and women's football.
That's true. I will have F1 YouTube videos coming soon. I have a few cooking. I have a few scripts being written as we speak. But I need to actually do that. So it'll come. But first, I've got a lot of women's football content that I want to crack out first because
It's great content. It's very informative. I learned so much from my first video.
oh, I appreciate that so much, bestie. Thanks. Thanks for the plug.
As someone who literally doesn't understand.
Oh my god, check out
sports.
your BookTalk account. Plug your BookTalk account. Plug yourself.
My Bookstagram?
Yeah.
Yes, if you're interested in book-related content, go check out In the Books somewhere on Instagram, posting bookish content.
Yeah. Yeah, see, something for everyone. Sports and books. There we go.
Yeah.
The two wolves inside me.
Whee!
Oh, it went. It didn't want
It
you
did.
to plug you. It didn't want you to plug yourself. It said absolutely not. One free plug per episode.
Fuck reading.
Go away. Absolutely not. Yikes.
All right. Now, if F1 wants to sponsor us, that'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah, if you'd like to give us paddock passes for a race, I wouldn't say no. I'd have to think about it, but I would be open.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to check my schedule and you
Yeah,
know,
I'm busy.
make sure I'm
busy,
available. I'm such
Yeah,
a
yeah,
busy
yeah.
person, but
Yeah. I have things to do.
I'm
but,
sure we could make it work.
Yeah, I think so. So. Yeah. Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a new episode. To stay connected with us, then follow us on social media, which are linked in the description. I've been Emily.
And I've been Scar.
Tune in next time for the best cottagecore podcast for the cottage whores.